New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney joins us now. So, Congresswoman, great to see you. Great to have you back. You have to give me some insight. You don't have to name names, but I know you see your Democratic colleagues in the halls, and many of them, they know they're in a trap, don't they?
Yeah, well, look, Chuck Schumer is my senator, one of them, and he's an amateur. Look, he voted for this exact continuing resolution to maintain Biden level funding back in the spring, and now he's all of a sudden answering to the far left that has no common sense at this point, and Trump is at the upper hand. Now, remember when we've gone through shutdowns in the past, when Obama was president and he controlled, the Republicans came to life very quickly and realized, if we shut the government down and give the power to the executive, they can actually inflict harm on the American people, which Obama actually did, if you look at it from a conservative viewpoint. And what Trump is doing is saying, you want all your DEI programs and your green new energy deals and wasting taxpayer money, then I'm going to look at those programs using Rust vote. And it kind of needles them with the Project 25 because, the Democrats went unglued over this Project 25 like it was some kind of crazy scheme. It was really common sense. So he is trolling them a little bit with that.
Yes.
But look, this is a colossal error by the Democrats. Like, they should be going back to the Appropriations Committee, as our speaker has so repeatedly and astutely pointed out. We can do this under regular order. We can do this the proper way. Let's negotiate these things in the Appropriations Committee, in the House of Representatives, based on the constitutional authority that we have, and fight it out there. Get a committee, vote to the floor and vote on it. And they're not doing that because they know they don't have the votes to actually enact the policies they want to have it to enact. But guess what Trump did to them? He flipped the tables on them. Now they may actually have to eat crow and get a lot of what Trump's priorities are, and as he calls it, making America great again. So I don't think this shutdown is going to last a long time. And the charades that I'm watching online are actually comical and really embarrassing to the Democrats. I mean, if you see some of them.
Yeah, there's not a lot of message discipline coming from Democrats. Specifically, we're talking about Michigan Congressman Sheer Theandar, who illuminated really what this is all about. Take a look.
Returning back to Detroit this morning after the Republicans failed to show up in the U.S. House, we got to make sure Americans have the health care that they need. And if that means we got to shut this government down, so be it.
There you go. He admits they're shutting this government down. But when they say Americans have the health care they need, we know, even though they tell us this isn't happening, that illegal immigrants are also going to get the same health care.
I mean, it's interesting because you have Hakeem Jeffries out there saying, well, there is no federal law, and the Democrats aren't trying to change a federal law to give access to our healthcare system and Medicaid to illegal immigrants. That may be true under federal law, but New York State has been actually gaming the system, finding a way through the federal matching system of Medicaid to give money to illegal immigrants, rolling it out on New York's health care plan called New York State of Health. You can go look it up, New York State of Health online, Kathy Hochul, and it clearly states undocumented immigrants have full access to all of the, healthcare visits, everything that everyday Americans would get, everyday citizens, and they have access to it. So what do? They force the federal taxpayers to fund that.
Right.
They get a matching fund for it. And then who do they reimburse? Not the New York taxpayers, the insurance companies and the managed care agencies that are making profits off it at record levels. So the New York Democrats are screwing their own taxpayers to help the insurance companies. Those people, they said, we're going to stick it to the insurance companies when we pass the Affordable Care Act. Exactly the opposite. And who are their donors?
Right. And you know this as well
companies.
as anybody. A lot of these sanctuary cities and states have policies where they're not even allowed to ask the immigration status of these people that come in seeking health care. So it's not even an issue for them. And just because, it's illegal to do, it's also illegal for these people to still remain in this country without the proper documentation, and they're doing that as well. So we know how that goes. One more question for you. Wanted to ask you about Zohran Mamdani, who looks like he is on a glide path to become the next mayor of New York City. He stopped by the friendly confines of The View yesterday for a hard-hitting interview. Joy Behar asked him if he is in fact a communist. Here's what he said.
Let's quickly tick through all the things that Trump said about you, and let's get that out of the way, all right? Number one, he's attacking you as a communist. Are you?
No, I'm a democratic socialist. That means I believe in dignity for all people.
It means more than that.
Yeah, I think...
You're not a communist. I agree with that.
No, I'm not a communist. And I think, a lot of New Yorkers have asked me, what does it mean that you're a democratic socialist?
Yeah.
And I tell them, to think about the words of Dr. King from decades ago. He said, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism. There has to be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. And that's the heart of it.
Okay.
He quotes Marx. He wants to take away private property, give it to people. That is a communist. Doesn't matter like how you cash it. He's a communist.
Yeah, he's a snake oil salesman. He's trying to mince words. Look, I lived in a communist country. I lived in the former Yugoslavia. When they try to say we're socialists, they're communists. They believe in Marxism. He is a member of the New York State Assembly. If you watch the New York State Assembly debates, there are actually members of the Democrat Socialists of America that get up on the floor and use their time to celebrate Karl Marx. He is a Marxist-derived communist socialist. Call it what you want. It's all one variety of the same thing. Control by government, the opposite of what our founders gifted us, the opposite of self-governance, we the people, human rights, human dignity, all the things they claim, all these things end up in a way that if you're a dissident, you end up getting persecuted. You end up in a jail because you disagree with the communists, the authoritarians, and everything the Democrats say the Republicans are, they're projecting. They're authoritarians. That's what communism and socialism leads to. And if you disagree with them, you know, they enact power against you and they silence you. That's why we see cancel culture and silencing of conservative and alternative views, perfectly demonstrated by the horrible tragedy of the murder of Charlie Kirk, who was simply a nice young man going out into the public without being behind a keyboard, without sitting on his phone, and going and meeting with people face to face to talk about our ideas, everything our founders envisioned, the marketplace of ideas, everything they left in Europe and everything they left to come to this country and choose freedom over an authoritarian system, which they could have done.
Right.
I mean, this is exactly what this is. We are going in reverse order. It's going to be very dangerous, I think, for New York State also, because the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, are the tail wagging the dog in New York. The governor, or I mean, the president or the mayor of New York City, of the largest city in our nation, is a leader on the statewide. He will influence the DSA in Albany, and that will influence policy and will continue the outmigration of people, the downturn in our economy, and the dramatically bad situation that we face in New York State as New Yorkers.
It is.
This is not a good thing for New York.
It is a death spiral.
Exactly.
Yeah, and everybody, like, oh, socialism is different than communism. What does the third letter of USSR stand for? Socialist Republic. That's what it is. So,
There you go.
Claudia Tini, great to have you with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.